Well, here we are at Braintree High School this morning, really having a nice event associated with electric cars and our environment. Town Hall, 2 years ago, we enlisted in a program where we have 2 hybrid automobiles as well as a fully electric car as part of our municipal fleet, used by our building department, our planning department. I myself have used those cars on occasion, and so this is a great opportunity here in Braintree, not only to grow the program, but to introduce this ability, if you will, of these cars, and they really do. They move quicker than you think. You got to be prepared, and they're quiet. Sometimes you don't even know that they're on, but they're beautiful cars, and there's a lot of options, and it's good for the environment. It's good for gas mileage, obviously, or in this particular case, powered in a different way. So you're going to save money in terms of the purchase of gas, and so. I'd encourage everyone, we're going to do this hopefully on an annual basis. It is the municipal government of Braintree working with BELD to see that this program can be underlined in terms of its importance as well as availability. It really is fairly easy to get into one of these vehicles.
I'm Gabe Shapiro. I'm the Vice President of Programs and Partnerships at Sagewell, and Sagewell is working with BELD to deliver the Braintree Drives Electric program. To help residents and businesses take advantage of state, federal, and local rebates on electric vehicles and charging stations. So any vehicle that is eligible for the state rebate is eligible to participate in the program. That includes, cars that are not as affordable, like the Teslas and some of the plug-in BMWs. We are actively working to help connect residents to 6 vehicles with 5 local dealerships. And with those local dealerships, they have offered to make their cars available for events like today and the ride and drive we're doing at the high school. Also, they will do test drives that originate and end at any address in Braintree, and you can schedule those online at the website. And they've also agreed to do these pre-negotiated deals. So if everyone's gone through a car buying process, you walk in, they have a price maybe that you saw online, and then you get there and they say, well, that's not really the price. It's only if you are a recent college graduate and you're trading in the car that's exactly the same car. So what we've done is we've tried to take all of those hidden fees and costs out of the process. So the prices that are listed on the website, when you walk in, they will honor those prices, and there's no hidden fees or additional costs. So we just wanted to take out all the haggling and pain of that buying process and just have people able to walk in and get what they see online. So that's been really good, because myself and everyone going through that process can be painful.
Hi, I'm Gina Copeland Newfield. I serve as the director of the Sierra Club's National Electric Vehicle Initiative. The Sierra Club is the nation's oldest and largest grassroots environmental organization. We have about 2.5 million members and supporters around the country. We have chapters in all 50 states, including here in Massachusetts. And we work on a range of issues to protect the environment, our air quality, our planet, our climate. And transportation has been an issue we've worked on for decades and decades. And for the past few years, we've been very excited to promote electric vehicles because they're a terrific alternative to conventional vehicles, much cleaner, lower in air pollution, lower in climate pollution, and they reduce our dependence on oil.
Right, yeah. So there's two different cars with plugs. Any car with a plug is able to participate in the Braintree program, but there are 2 types. One is a battery electric vehicle, so all electric. There's no gas, there's no way to put gas in it. You plug it in and that drives the car for as many miles as you can get. There is also a plug-in hybrid vehicle, which is something that I drive myself, a Chevrolet Volt. And that is, you plug it into the wall, but it also has a gas tank. And when you plug it in, you get, on the Volt, for example, you get about 55 miles of all electric. You drive all electric, the gas engine doesn't do anything. And then once you use up all the battery capacity, it seamlessly switches over to to be gasoline powered, and then I get another 300 miles of range. So all in, I've got as much range as a traditional vehicle, but I do most of my driving. That 55 miles covers almost all of my commuting and daily needs. So I traditionally, pretty much drive all electric and have the gas engine as a backup.
Hi, I'm Seamus McBride. I'm from Quincy, Massachusetts, and I work at Quirk Ford on Southern Artery. Here's the Fusion Energy. It is a very great car if you want to go for the energy type, going green. For combined gasoline and energy fuel, you can get 97 miles per gallon, and gasoline only, you get 42. So even if you were just to use gasoline, it still has great MPG for that. It's also got the easy fuel capless filler. On the other side here, you can just tap it, cap will come out, and then you can punch in the gasoline if you were to do it there. And on the other side of this car here, there's kind of a button on the side over here, and you can push that open. So if you want to use the electric charge, you can just plug in that electric charge. Some people do it overnight to save time, so they can do it then, and it'll have a full charge for the next day. So also up here, you can get the Sync 3 Touch. You can get My Ford Touch on other Fusion Energies. It's just our touchscreen that we have that you can use up here. You can get navigation, you can get entertainment, you can get climate, so you can control pretty much everything throughout the car you can do with that touchscreen in there. And you also have a voice activated hands-free button that you can use if you were driving and you don't want to be distracted. So you can tap that button and use voice commands to control anything throughout the car. So yeah, it's just a great all-around car to have if you were to go green.
I'm here to check out all the different electric and hybrid cars. I'm really interested in seeing if I can fit my family, my 2 kids, and the dog in an electric car, if I can do both. I used to have a little Honda Insight when it was just me and the 2 seats, but now I need something bigger, and it looks like there are lots of options. Yeah, I did the Leaf, which I really liked. I just did that. That was really a lot more comfortable than I thought, just because it looks like a little car, but it's really roomy inside. And the Volt definitely feels like a cool sports car. I love that in another chapter of my life. And the C-Max was really fun too, and definitely feels like a much more substantial car than I thought. It's small, but it feels really solid. So.
So people will often wonder, well, are electric vehicles really cleaner because you do have emissions associated with electricity that you're using to charge your vehicle as opposed to the gasoline that comes from oil? And that's true. However, even factoring in the emissions from electricity used to charge electric vehicles, an electric car in Massachusetts or in this region of the country is about 70% lower in greenhouse gas emissions than a conventional car. That's just how dirty oil is. So that would have a huge impact on our air quality in terms of reducing our climate emissions. It also improves our air quality in terms of lowering the types of emissions that increase asthma rates and heart attacks and other problems associated with air pollution.
Essentially, it goes along with kind of the values of our family. We're trying to use less and take less from the planet so that we can leave a cleaner imprint. And honestly, cost-wise, too, I think if we're going to spend a little bit more money on a car, I think it can balance out if we spend less money on gas. So practical and kind of moral reasons.
Just on the ownership costs, because there are state and federal tax credits and rebates for choosing an electric-powered vehicle, your ownership cost of either leasing or payments are going to be less than for a traditional vehicle of similar MSRP. So you save money on the operating cost, on the ownership cost. On the operating cost, to fuel the car, with Beld's prices and the incentives that Beld has through the smart charging program, you can be fueling your car for the equivalent of about $1.15 per gallon of gas by plugging in with Beld's prices. Additionally, because electric cars have fewer moving parts, there's fewer service and maintenance expenses that you would experience over the lifetime of the car as well. So, for example, if you have an all-electric car, you never need to change the oil. So that's one thing that you just don't have to do, and that's an expense that you don't have. And then just on the saving carbon, you're over the life of your car, you're going to have about 50% of the carbon impact that you would of a traditional internal combustion engine, and that takes into account the extra energy that goes into creating the car and the battery. So you still have half the carbon impact you would have of a traditional vehicle.
So even with today's low gasoline prices, electric vehicles are still significantly cheaper to fuel than conventional vehicles. So if you think about it this way, it's the equivalent of about $1.25 per gallon. So if you think about gasoline costing about $2.25 per gallon, electric vehicles are the equivalent of about $1.25 per gallon in terms of what you're paying in electricity versus what you would be paying in gasoline. And for some people who could charge their vehicles at their workplace or in certain public charging places that offer charging for free, then it actually becomes free to charge your vehicle. But most people do charge their vehicles at home overnight, and so it takes no time. You get home, you plug it in. You can even program it in most cars to charge late at night. Some people have lower off-peak rates with their utility companies. It's cheaper and more efficient for the grid, actually, when people charge their vehicles during off-peak hours. And then you get up in the morning, you're ready to go, full of charge.
My name is Shane Dextrader, and I'm from Quirk Chevrolet in Braintree, Massachusetts. This is the 2017 Chevrolet Volt. This is an electric vehicle, but it also has a gas engine. With the electric charge, you get 53 miles on a full charge. Between the electric charge as well as the gas engine, you get over 400 miles, roughly around 420 miles between the electric charge and a full tank of gas. It automatically transfers over to the gas engine. You won't even notice it. The noise level doesn't change, the drive doesn't change. It's a smooth transition. It's a very smooth vehicle, very responsive. This vehicle comes equipped with the push to start. It also has Wi-Fi, automatic starter, Bluetooth comes standard with the backup camera. You can also download an app on your cell phone where you can lock, unlock, and automatic start your vehicle off from your cell phone. Heated seats, heated steering wheel, very well equipped vehicle.
So not only do I promote electric vehicles as part of my job, but I'm also an electric car driver myself. They're terrific cars. They're fun to drive. They're quiet. They can be fast. They can be very fast. And they're just very technologically savvy. So some people drive electric cars because they're environmentalists. A lot of people drive electric cars because they're just terrific cars to drive. They're fun. They're technologically advanced. So there are a lot of, very techie people who will drive electric cars because they're just so sophisticated in terms of their machines. So they run on battery power. So you charge them, you plug them in just like you'd plug in your phone or your laptop. Full battery electric vehicles require no gasoline at all, ever, so you never have to go to the gas station. It's great. Plug-in hybrid vehicles are cars that rely on battery power for a certain number of miles or a certain amount of charge, and then when you run out of electric charge, it seamlessly transitions into relying on a backup gasoline engine. And there are a lot of different models out there. There are more than 20 models available in the United States, most of which are available in Massachusetts, and they're all different. Some are full battery electrics, some are plug-in hybrids. They go a different number of miles. They're at different price points. Some are very expensive luxury cars like the Tesla Model S. Mercedes and Porsche have plug-in models, but then there are many others that are much more affordable. The Nissan Leaf, the Chevy Volt are in the 20s and 30s, but then you can get a federal tax credit of up to $7,500 and a state rebate of up to $2,500. So that's literally just a check in the mail from the state of Massachusetts as a way of thanking you for switching to a cleaner vehicle that's going to reduce air pollution for all of us.
Right, so all the cars come with a way to charge them. So for some vehicles, like those plug-in hybrids, you may not need to get any additional equipment. If you have a place to plug in a 110, 120 volt regular outlet, you can charge your car. My car, for example, if it's the battery is fully depleted, it takes about 10 hours to charge just from a regular outlet. If you have a car, if you drive more and you have a car with a larger capacity, you can get a charging station, and Beld actually has a $250 rebate for a couple different level 2, they call it, charging stations, and those charge at a 240 volt capacity, which is a similar type of charge you would get from that you would need, similar type of plug you would need for your washer or dryer, so you can either just plug directly into that, or you can get a little charging station, which allows you to have a little bit more tidy situation. If you mount it on a wall, you can kind of have your cord there permanently. It also provides data for you about how you're charging and your charging behavior, and it also allows you to participate in Beld's Smart Charging program, which gets you additional bill credits for using those specific types of chargers. On the website, we can on Braintree Drives Electric, we can help you introduce you to those hardware technologies. We also have local electricians that will give you a fair price on the install, so you can take care of that as well.
It totally depends on which car you have. So, for example, for my Nissan Leaf, it can go about 85 miles on a charge. It depends on various factors, how efficiently you drive, whether it's very hot or very cold, whether you're using the air conditioning. So anywhere between 65 and 95 miles before you'd need to recharge. The Tesla Model S goes well over 200 miles on one charge. The Chevy Volt right now goes about 50 miles on a charge, but then it has a backup gasoline engine. The Ford C-Max Energy goes about 20 miles on a charge before it relies on its backup gasoline hybrid engine. So it really just varies by the car. We actually have an online consumer guide that helps people figure out which plug-in car might be right for them. We even have a pick a plug-in quiz people can take. So if people go to www.sierraclub.org/EV guide, they can figure out which plug-in car might be right for them.
If you use the 120 volt charger that the vehicle comes with, it takes about 13 hours to charge. If you get the level 2 charger, which is the 240 volt, it takes 4 to 6 hours.
Let's roll.
Just dial it up and go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put my blinker on.
Yeah, you can adjust the seat too if that's too much.
It seems like it's a little tight. How do you adjust it?
There's the two little levers back here, so you can.
Okay, but only get you. All right. I think my license is valid.
Have at it. So it's kind of like a big loop here, so you can just pull all the way around there.
I went to high school here many years ago.
Oh yeah?
So I kind of know the road. Where do you live, Seamus?
I live in Quincy. I go to Quincy High.
We call Quincy Old Braintree,
Yeah.
There's all of our lovely geese out there.
Oh yeah,
we got down 2 turf fields, so the geese have got limited ability now with just the natural grass.
Really?
But nice. It's a beautiful day. Take a ride.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna go out, I think, a little bit in the streets. Is that all right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's where the.
Coming out of the Braintree High School parking lot now. We're gonna go ahead and take a left down Town Street to Pond.
Yeah. And then up to Town Street after Pond.
How'd you get involved in this program, Seamus?
I work at Quirk Ford.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, so I'm on the technology team, so if you were to buy the car, I show you how to use all the touchscreen, all the button system, all the dashboard stuff in there, so it's a lot of stuff, but get to get yourself familiar.
How many people are buying these types of cars?
A lot, actually. They're up and coming because it is a nice looking car, because a lot of cars nowadays that have the energy type system are kind of like weird looking. Like we have a C-Max, which isn't really like a normal car looking, I'd say. So some people like to disguise that they're driving an energy by using this type of car.
Right.
So it makes them feel more comfortable and it's more stylish, I'd say too.
Is this fully electric, this vehicle?
This is half and half. So you get you can get full electric charge, and then after you run out of electric charge, it'll kick into gasoline.
Yeah.
So you get 97 miles per gallon total on between the 2 electric and gasoline. And if you were to just use gasoline, you'd get 42.
Okay. And then in terms of cost and potential rebates?
Right, so the cost of this one right now is $36,600, but you can get, this has all the bells and whistles to it because it's a titanium model.
Yeah.
But you can get certain models. We have SE, we have just the base model that you have, and you can get subtractions off of the bells and whistles, which would decrease the price. So I'd say they range anywhere between 28 to 36.
Do you qualify for reimbursement with federal programs or anything like that? Do you know that, Gabe?
I can hop in there. You are the both of the Ford Energy models, the C-Max and the Fusion, are eligible for both a state rebate through the More EV program. You get $1,500 just a check if you buy or lease one of those vehicles. And then there is a federal tax credit that you're eligible for if you buy the vehicle. If you lease the vehicle, typically the lease company takes that credit and passes it through in really lower monthly payments. So you can get into. Seamus, maybe you know the mechanics. If you put that $1,500 down, maybe a little bit more that you get from the state, you get a lease payment that's going to be pretty affordable compared to a vehicle of similar MSRP.
Right. Does the dealership get an incentive as well to like sell a number of these vehicles?
I'm sure they get something good from like Ford itself. Our dealership does sell a lot of these, so I'm sure they get certain special.
As far as I know, there's no government incentives for the dealership to push electric vehicles.
There is not right now.
Right. That's actually been one of the challenges with electric vehicle adoption, is that the dealerships, aside from the folks that we've worked with in the program and Ford included, do have a bunch of knowledgeable folks, but nationwide it's hard to find. If you walk into a dealership, it's hard to find somebody that knows all the benefits of the electric vehicles.
Right.
You got to push for a federal law, I guess, huh? Now, aren't we supposed to be, what's that show? Aren't we supposed to be doing a little karaoke right now or something?
I was actually going to say, Mayor, what's your go-to karaoke song? Why don't you give us a bit?
I don't have a go-to karaoke. It's got to be something, maybe Danny Boy or something. I don't know.
What's your go-to radio station?
I like sports radio.
Sports radio, 98.5?
No, I like 93.7.
93.7?
And I listen to ATD. I listen to WBZ for the news.
So any music?
Yeah, sometimes I put on classical music. I need to calm myself down on rides. So I'll put the classical music on pretty much. Or the stations that do the 80s and 90s song, and a little 70s, more my type, I'm not a rapper. So we took a ride downtown, took a right on Pond, took a right on Granite, and now we're taking a right back into Township.
How was the ride? Tell us about it.
It's beautiful. No, it really handles nice and smooth, and it's got acceleration. It's a very nice vehicle. I own a Ford Fusion, fully gas powered. It's a 2010. It's got 113,000 miles on it. So if Dan Quirk will give me a deal, maybe I'm going to get into one of these.
Absolutely. Stop on by. We have a couple business cards here, so Nick Scarvalho.
Not just me a deal, anybody a deal.
Mm-hmm. Right? That's true.
We do have pre-negotiated deals for all residents in Braintree on these two vehicles.
What do you mean by pre-negotiated?
Well, you can walk in and get a no haggle, all fees included deal. So we can tell you about the price. You walk in, and they'll give you that price without having to negotiate.
So I wanted a car that was lower in greenhouse gas pollution, lower in air pollution in general. I also wanted a fun car to drive, and one that I could easily drive my kids around in. I have 2 young kids and often need to drive them to soccer practice or karate practice or whatever it may be. So I wanted a car that was going to be great for my conscience, fun to drive, and great for our family.
Right. For me, it was primarily the environmental aspects, is why I was interested in, to begin with, that big 50% carbon savings of being of powering the vehicle by electricity was a really big attractor for me. But there are so many more benefits that I experienced after I went to get with it. I love the silent driving. That's, I think, my favorite part about it. You're on the highway, you accelerate. It gives you a lot of juice, but there's no engine whine. It's completely silent to drive. You can have a conversation. That's really nice. And I actually, just some things of just having a newer car that these all have, like a nice backup camera, the smartphone integration. I can use the navigation from my phone on the touch screen. So it's been really great. And I have the plug-in Chevy Volt. I have no range anxiety, no problem. I can drive to do my business meetings in Connecticut and New Hampshire, and it's really been a great car for me.
That is the new trend that we're starting to see, especially with them getting more public exposure. A lot of people care about the environment and whatnot, and with the amount of vehicles on the road, the electric vehicle is the way to go. Also, it just makes sense, especially if you do a lot of local community driving. Don't have to buy gas anymore. You save on total expense of the vehicle, so it's just the way to go now.
Electric vehicles are now part of our national agenda in terms of transportation throughout our country for a number of reasons. They've become very reliable. You're able to purchase them. They're affordable. Obviously, they help the environment. There's a whole study associated with emissions and the impact that regular vehicles have on our environment and our air quality. These electric cars obviously reduce those emissions and give us options. And I think, people are reluctant to perhaps even think about purchasing one of these cars. I will acknowledge when we first bought 3 cars for the town, I had some, I wouldn't say concerns, but questions, and my questions were answered. These cars are reliable cars, and they can get you through the snow and get you through inclement weather, and they're an important contribution to our environment and to what we're trying to promote here, not only in Braintree but throughout our country. And I do believe that electric cars will continue to be part of our national agenda when it comes to transportation in our country.
Yeah, I mean, I think more and more, and part of the barrier to buying an electric vehicle is that so few people have driven in one or driven one, and that's why we're doing events like today, getting people exposed to the cars, and why we've set up, really our program is focused around getting people behind the wheel so they can really experience what it's like to drive them. And what it's like to drive them is really fun. They have instant torque, and you get a nice acceleration. They have all the latest technology, smartphone integration, and they're fun and fast, and not kind of, some people have the perception that they're slow and clunky, but they're great. So yeah, I think as people see them and have more experience with them, adoption will continue to increase, and there are more vehicles coming onto the market that have longer ranges and have larger passenger capacity, and just there'll be more options. All of the manufacturers are coming out with different models, though the ones on the market today are great, and there are these really generous incentives that won't be around forever that make it really affordable to be an early adopter as well.
They're the future. Get ahead of the trend, especially with the government. They're pushing a lot of these, so you do get some rebates. You're able to collect some money in the process. So depending on your situation, you can come out in somewhat of a net gain in these situations. These vehicles are the perfect vehicles to lease. Low mileage, low cost of ownership, and of course, very low payment. This is the way to go.